Hi, welcome to Ocean's Mirror. So, once again, I'm here covering the good old cult of kubala, but today I'm going to go back and look at Jean Gaskell, G. Gashel, Mary Tamil, um, as she was before, okay? And I'm going to pull up stuff from different place, well, one particular place and another place. So, I wanted to show an example of how this woman speaks properly and how she can articulate herself and how she can put herself over. I even forgot to do this. Hold up. I forgot to do something. Uh, I forgot. Is it gonna show? Now, before all this, Jean was actually a very articulate woman. She would talk very well. You know what I mean? So let me make it bigger. Let me see if it will go bigger. Right, before all this, she used to articulate herself very well. Very well. Okay. Before it got into this type of levels here. Okay. So this person is a character now with a handmaiden and Kofi off it. Okay. And we will get back to their story and their little scam what they was up to as well, you know, because like they have a lot of stuff going on, okay? So uh so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this one and go to the articulated one because she used to talk very well. She used to have to put herself very well. She was on a woman's channel. This was before. Right, she had 7 children at this time. 7 children she had at this time, and which is what she says when she's talking to the lady. And why is it looking like that? Oh, it keeps going weird. Okay, so basically, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play this so you can see the articulated, very well put over Jean Gashel, Mary, aka Mary Tamra.
It was not just because she's mixed race, it was because she just felt like a breath of fresh air, in United Kingdom. Like I felt like the country needed that. And we were also happy. But for me, it was just, as we got to know her, I just started to see certain things about her that was very strange, to me. She was just doing things that didn't make any sense to me. And especially with Eugenie's wedding, Princess Eugenie's wedding, I couldn't understand why she would go and announce her pregnancy at another woman's wedding. That felt really strange to me. So it's the little things she started doing. And for me, because I had always been writing about my own experiences, my own life, I wasn't well received in the Zimbabwean community. Like most of my followers, most of my blog followers were like Black people, Zimbabweans, and I faced so much backlash for just being myself and telling my story. Mm-hmm. So for me, with this whole Oprah interview, what really pushed me to just go all out, I felt like the same people who were actually attacking me for sharing my story were the same people who were calling Megan brave and courageous, and I couldn't stand the hypocrisy. I just
terrible.
It,
yeah. Isn't it just terrible how the abuse? Did you feel like the attacks on you were very personal and very just below the belt and just horrific. Is that another level? Wouldn't you say that the attacks?
Denture wearers suffer too much in silence.
Yeah.
I consider losing your teeth or having
It's very strange. Like, I don't.
Now she had angst with Meghan Markle for something about Meghan Markle rubbed her up the wrong way. She didn't like Meghan Markle. You know, she doesn't like even her own country people. She doesn't like even them. So yes, when you're hearing her talk about Meghan Markle and what she thinks of her, this is a discussion really about race, really, and this is how she is able to articulate herself and explain certain stuff and explain herself over and that. So like she explains a lot of things. She talks about her life with her husband and certain stuff. So let's listen.
Don't even understand why, because the attacks on me has been very, very, like you said, very personal, very derogatory. I could just write even about how my mother doesn't like me, and I would be cursed for writing that. So it got to a point where I had to continue being myself and just writing my story, But then I was facing so much backlash and I didn't understand why. And sometimes I feel like this is the problem in the Black community, This is why I trivialize even race.
She faces a lot of backlash because of how she puts things over. She doesn't put things over in the best way ever. Right? I mean, like we've seen it going on in the forest. She's not the best. Right? She's very. What did I say? I think I already said what I think she is. She's very egotistical. That's big ego. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with ego, right? Because ego takes you places, okay? But at the same time, there's a different levels of ego. Whereas where she sees people that is beneath her, she thinks she's above everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. You can be I don't want to say like the queen or whoever. She will look down on you, right? You could be at the highest level, the richest millionaire, she'll look down on you because she feels she is very entitled to lots of things and all that. And here, she puts over herself very well and she explains herself very well. She doesn't actually explain herself very well. Can't listen to this before. Sorry, I keep sniffing because right, she puts herself over very well. She explains herself very well. She's what's word it. She knows how to put words over. She's written a book, she's written blogs, she's written this, she's written like 500,000 things. So she knows how to word herself, how to get herself over, how to tell somebody what she wants to say, right? Because even this in the comments underneath the video, they said how well she puts things over, and some tends to agree with her on certain stuff. I, on the other hand, never really was bothered about Meghan Markle, really. I mean, yeah, she did get a little bit of racism due to her heritage, her lineage, or whatever. So that's what I think personally. And it was a little bit down to race too on that level. So, but how she puts it in a different way.
Racism, because I have faced worse racism in the Black community than I've ever faced with white people, to be very honest. Yeah.
Isn't that so ironic that, the racism is so bad within our own community, that people just need to understand that it's not just a black and a white thing. Even amongst black people, when the darker to lighter skinned black people, it could be based on that,
It's very, very bad. And because, like my husband, I've got daughters who are very dark skinned. I've got my husband who is really also dark skinned. And I'll just share a picture of myself with my husband, and I'll be getting so much abuse. Then along came Megan, and the same black people who attack me for having a dark skinned husband are the same people who are idolizing Megan for being black. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense, but do you think she has an obligation to come out and say something about that? Because she knows these are her supporters. We call them sugars. Do you think that she should say something?
Because I don't think she's naive about that situation. I actually think she's a woman who understands even the privilege within the black community of being mixed race.
Mm-hmm.
I think she truly understands it, because that's what she even rides on today, because she knows that black people sort of like idolize her because she's light skinned, she's got the straight hair and all that stuff. She understands all that. And it's so sad because she had such a position of power to change so much in the black community, because black people really embraced her and they fell in love with her. And she could have used that opportunity to change so much, even in Britain. But what has actually angered me the most is how she has taken all her privilege, because Megan is sort of like the privileged black woman, and she's also the privileged white woman. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
she gets to enjoy the best of both sides. So she could actually have used that for the betterment of the black community, especially. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Like, what advice would you have given her?
Yeah, I think
in the very beginning. Let's say she did that at Eugenie's wedding, right?
Yeah.
But you still liked her. You didn't know all the other things that have happened. I mean, at that point, would you say something?
Do you know what? It's funny you asked me that, because I did actually try to do that. I remember when she started always, touching her bump and everything in public. And I remember just writing a simple blog, Facebook post. And I was like, you know what, Megan, you have to tone it down a little bit. You know that people are talking about this. It's giving you negative attention. You're supposed to be royalty. You're supposed to have a certain standard. But then it looks like you're enjoying people talking about you. Then you come out again and you touch your bum, which is very excessively. And when I wrote that post, I was attacked so badly by the black community, by the Zimbabweans. I was accused of being jealous of Megan. I was accused, it went really below the belt, where I was even told that your children, and you can't even compare your children to Megan's children. She's got a royal baby, and you're just a black woman, a Zimbabwean woman. So why are you're not even worthy to be giving an advice. I'm telling you, this is what I received. But I did actually try in my own way as a writer, when I felt like she had to pull herself together and stop trying to draw attention to herself. I did try to do that.
And so would you say that she's purposely trying to get attention by doing things that are wrong? Like, she probably loves the attention.
Okay. So Mary Tama, aka Jean Gashaw, had a obsession with Meghan Markle, right? She had a deep obsession with Meghan Markle. On all of the stuff that she's written on Meghan Markle, there's loads of stuff what she's written about her. I'm gonna play one. to show you how deep this goes now. Let me see. See, I can get it thingy. She had an angst with her a little bit. Let me see.
I'm a black woman, and over the past days I've been cringing seeing black people all over my social media feed getting all upset about what's currently happening to Meghan Markle, as they believe it's some sort of racist agenda towards her, which is sad really, because black people have way bigger problems they should be fighting against than fighting for a very privileged mixed race woman who has made her bed. In all my arguments against Meghan, I refuse to use her half-black side because she doesn't even use it herself. Claiming her black side when things go wrong is rather hypocritical to say the least. She got where she is today because of the genes of her father, a white man. Come on, the woman even straightens her hair to get rid of any kinks and curls from her black mother. She strictly marries white men. She relates more to her white side than black side, so I can't see why that should change today. Oh, suddenly she is now a black woman who is a victim of racism. Nah, not in my book. There are real victims of racism out there, black women, who can't even get a promotion at work because they are black, so I won't insult black heritage by putting Meghan Markle's plight in the same bracket with black women. Secondly, the same black people crying about the so-called racism towards Meghan Markle are the same black people who always put Meghan and Princess Diana in the same league. They did the same to Princess Diana, they cry out.
Let's see, I can get the rest. Let me get the rest. Oops. Oh, let me do the rest. Hold on.
Wasn't racism with Diana, why is it suddenly racism with Meghan? They even have reasons to hate Meghan. She's a divorcee, an actress, and American. Diana was a pure virgin and white, yet in all fairness, Diana had it far worse than Meghan. To add to her suffering, Diana had no husband to hold her hand. The woman was completely on her own. Diana was only a teenager when she got married. Meghan was way over 35 years old. So please, black people, just stop. Diana was an actual victim, not of racism obviously, but of the royal family and paid with her own life. And one thing I admire about Diana, whilst on her own, without a husband to hold her hand, she was bold enough to call a spade a spade. At least she was true to herself and told her story without mincing any words, which brings me to the reason why I have no ounce of sympathy for Meghan Markle. I believe Meghan Markle actually deserves the bullying allegations against her. Yes, let them paint her as a bully, and worse. I don't know why they took so long. I wish the allegations had come even sooner. And no, I don't blame Kensington Palace for bringing out these allegations. Why shouldn't they? For years now, there has been reports in the British media about Meghan causing so much problems within the palace. We all heard how she made her sister-in-law Kate cry during her wedding rehearsals, which was over 3 years ago by the way, before Meghan was even married to Harry. This was malicious rumors and not true. Why didn't Meghan Markle say anything? Can someone honestly answer me why didn't she come out and deny that her behavior brought Kate to tears? Why? Then we heard how Meghan also drove Princess Eugenie to tears on her wedding day by announcing who can't fight for herself. Then there was so many stories about Meghan being difficult with staff, being rude to them, and waking them up at 5 a.m. in the morning. The staff were quitting their jobs apparently, and it was attributed to Meghan Markle. Again,
in the sun.
if this was
Don't
all
really
malicious rumors, why did Meghan never say anything to defend herself?
Okay, let's hear the allegations.
These were all serious allegations against her character coming from the palace, but Meghan and Harry kept quiet about it all. In fact, whilst all these serious allegations against Meghan about her bully behavior were going on in the British press, Prince Harry then released a long essay to the media complaining about how the British press was bullying Meghan. He was so angry with the British press, as if they were the main enemy of his wife. Meghan and Harry went as far to take the Mail on Sunday to court for publishing the private letter she sent her father. Yet both husband and wife, who are very vocal and know how to defend themselves, unlike Diana, who was a vulnerable young woman, they never said a word against the serious bullying allegations about Meghan Markle from the palace. These bullying allegations from Kensington Palace did not start today, it's been over 2 years now, yet through it all, Meghan and Harry chose to direct their anger and rage at the Mail on Sunday, even claiming that the British media is the reason they left the country.
Yeah, it is why. That's why they did leave the country, because of that. It is why. That is true. That's why she left, because she felt she was getting bullied. She wasn't accepted. They was kind of saying she's not like Diana, this, that, and the other. Then because she brought her Kenyan mother, I think her mother's Kenyan. I can't remember. I think she's Kenyan. There was an issue. I remember when that happened. I understand your angst, why she had angst with her at that time, because it's quite clear cut what was going on. That's why they went to Canada at some point. Though Meghan Markle is not the greatest, no, she ain't the greatest. I ain't no royalist or nothing, but from what I know is she wasn't the greatest neither. But yeah, she did get bullied at what she actually spoke about it at a few interviews. I think she wrote about it in her book. But this lady doesn't like Meghan Markle, so she wrote about it in her blogs like as well. So that was one of them. But she also put it in her post how she felt,
whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, I always felt like she does. Actually, I feel like she even enjoys the negative attention. I think she loves being spoken about.
Bear in mind, she's an actress as well. I forgot what program she turned up in. I think it was The Office or one of them. She's an actress as well. Like, so like you, she likes to be seen. Like, you know, like paparazzi and all that stuff. It's like the other day when I saw Victoria Beckham somewhere for the first time. I think I saw a video of Victoria Beckham for the first time. I haven't seen Victoria Beckham because I mostly see Scary Spice. I forgot her name, her real name. Forgot her real name. Who went out with Eddie Murphy. The paparazzi does actually follow them everywhere because of who they are. You know, they can't shake the paparazzi. The paparazzi will find out where they're. Sometimes they don't have to do nothing. Like, even when Harry did a salute ages ago, the paparazzi got wind of it, and it was out in the newspaper. Some newspapers, however, are called old rags over here. The Sun. The Independent is mostly the one that people mostly read, or the Metro, right? So there's different papers they call old rags for reasons why they call it old rags, yeah. And so over here particularly, because they're very into their royals, they didn't see her as a royal. They had a problem with accepting Meghan Markle, right? Maybe it's because of origin or because of who she was and all that. And in the end, because she was getting so much hatred against her, right, Harry made a decision to leave as well. So yeah, maybe she did get upstaged by her sister. I don't even remember all that shit because I don't even look into it like that. The royals don't stir me, okay? Put it that way. I don't get stirred by royals. maybe when I was younger, when Princess Diana got married to Charles, that was a thing where like you'll sit down, everybody used to watch the royals on the TV. When something massive happened, when they get married, the whole country will sit and watch the marriage. It's not like that now. It's different because people are realizing what is going on. So yeah, like people didn't really accept Meghan Markle. So, you know, she's saying all this. Fair enough, that's her opinion. Yes, she did. She does actually articulate it very well. I feel if this was the person that is on the screen now, that wasn't in the forest, I can talk to her. We can have a discussion. We can have a debate, because it's good to have a debate with someone like this, because they see things one way, you see things another way, and sometimes you just agree to disagree. And she has an angst with Meghan Markle. She writes about her a lot. Even in her Facebook post, she mentions her. Oh, look how my husband's treating me, but Harry's not treating you like this. Like, it doesn't make no sense. I used to tell a lot of the ones from the continent. I said, because they said, oh yeah, because you're born here. You're born here. Oh yeah, you're into the royals. I said no. Many West Indians ain't even into the royals like that. We don't check for the royals like that because we know the history. My grandmother always said the queen was wicked. My gran used to say that numbers of times. She used to say, you know what, the queen is wicked. She bad. She does, right? And then you get to a stage where you don't care for the royals like that. Like before, when like you'll be like that man dressed in the British flag, even though I didn't have to do all that. We weren't even them type of my grand wasn't even that type of West Indian anyway. Yes, she did respect the country and the people in it. That's the type of person she was because of who she was. So at the end of the day, when you're talking about Meghan Markle, that's like me obsessing over Harry's wife, Katie. I think her name's Katie. I can't remember. Katie. That's a different thing, right? Yes, you can pick little things of that certain person, like how I'm doing with you right now. You can pick little things, and you can see that there is something going on, and then you voice it. Yes, you voice it because that's your opinion. But then at the same time, you just have this angst with her. But then it's like you carried it through all the years, and now you brought it into the forest where you at, because even how you vocalize yourself, calling them Edomites and thingy, this is a build-up, you know what I mean? Like I said, this is the reason why I'm showing this side of her, because sometimes it's good to see before all the madness how she was talking, how she used to talk. And I will get to the other, what her and Kofi did to that lady. I won't do it in this one today. I think I'll do it separately, right? Because there is a whole build-up to this whole thing. Right, they are literally scamming people in the forest right now. That's what they're doing. They're running a scam right now. That's what they're doing. Okay, so when you see her talking like this, and she's very articulated, the way she talks to the lady, she's articulating herself well. She's saying the reasons why she don't like Meghan Markle, why she thinks it's her color, why she's getting to certain places and certain things. Now, I've done videos. Now, sorry, I always refer to the past videos that I've done in the past. There's one that I call Passing. There was one film that came on Netflix called Passing. There are some mixed race people that can come off as white passing. Right, that's a possibility. Meghan Markle does actually look like a white woman with black hair. If you don't look at her properly, right? If you close one eye, that's what she looks like. So for you can't say, oh well, because of this and this and this and this is why, because of this. Some of them are some biracial sometimes have a problem taking away from certain things. They have lost identity. In the mummy sector right now, there's one called Olivia. She's mixed race, but you can't tell that she's mixed race because of how she's brought up and how she puts herself over. Right, so she says certain stuff which doesn't show who she is, so even doesn't show the other side to her per se. She shows the one side but not the other side. So, you know, but some of them actually do embrace the other side of the other parents' side as well. So, you know, but obviously Meghan Markle is different. She's in the limelight, she's up there. She is not as, she's not taking on like Diana. I think people wanted Kate Middleton to be more like Diana because she married William. That's what I feel personally. But like I said, I'm not a royalist. I don't follow them like that. Like, it's over my head. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving examples and little tidbits of how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? You know, but let's listen to her talk.
All the time. Like, that's why you notice that, like, maybe if Catherine is doing something, she will always make an announcement of something, you know. When it's someone else's thunder, she always comes.
You watch her so closely. How? That's like me watching you closely. I don't watch you that closely. I just see things pop up on my timeline or whatever, and I listen. I think, oh, okay, that's interesting. Whatever. I don't watch you that closely. I think the most I do is check in and see whether they've left the place. That's it. But I'm just watching your character. The impression I get from you. People go by first impressions, right? They say that how when you enter the room, it's the first 5 minutes or whatever, or the second day is when you get to know somebody's character, even though you don't know them completely, right? You get to see who they are. Some people are shy, some people are into themselves. You know, I mean, when you come into a room and there's a very loud person and there's a quiet person, right? You don't know until they come and they sit down or they show you something. Or it's the same with when we watched like Nature Boy, that people was identifying who was the strongest one in Nature Boy's cult. Who, like Efaru, that how when she was prepared to hit Malia to prove a point to Nature Boy because they saw the different characteristics of the women there. So look, even I'm doing that stupid thing what he used to do. So when we're watching, it's like you're watching something, like when you watch a TV program and you work out the characters on the screen. That's how it is. Like, you try to work out the characters from that, or you work from the newspapers or whatever's going on. Sometimes you're never on point unless they would really do something great and you say, oh yeah, okay, I got that person wrong, fair enough. That happens, right? There's been numbers of times when I've got people wrong sometimes, and then you find out they are not that person. And it's the same with the people who is on the screens now. You can say, oh, that person's a good person, and and then later on now you find out the person is not who they say they are. They is. So you're the screen, when you're looking at the screen, like the screen says one thing, but it's something else. You know what I mean? So, like I said, Meghan Markle is a whole actress at the end of the day. She's a whole actress. They knew her from a long time before. She really don't have to do a lot to get the paparazzi to follow her. Her and Harry was out of the limelight for ages, I think. It's only recently she's come back into the limelight for doing foolishness because the children was out and the rain fell. She didn't cover them with the umbrella. Yeah, I saw that. But I'm not going to talk about it. No, I need to talk about it just now because I remember seeing it somewhere, right? But at the same time, right, I don't follow them like that. You know what I mean? And her and him disappeared out of the limelight for a very long time. So for you, it's like she studied her. You know, when someone studies you, that's what Jean was doing. She really was studying her a lot.
Comes up and does something. So I feel like she lives on attention, be it negative or positive.
But she's an actress.
She enjoys it. So why do you think most people can't see through what she's doing, the hypocrisy and Like, why can't other Black people see it's not about attacking her because she's a Black woman? I mean, why do they not see it? Because I know I have people that say, leave her alone, but respect me. I'm your elders. Don't respect me. You know, and she's done everything not to respect people that are her elders. You know, why do we as a culture of people not look at someone's character? Why?
I think, do you know what? I think that's why.
And that's why the Willie Lynch letter was written. Right. Remember they wrote a Willie Lynch letter, the young one hating the young one, the dark one hating the light skinned one, the whatever. These are all plays out of what is called as Chilpukrum? Chilgary? Can't remember which one. The ISIS papers spoke about these things. What these things are all playing out now is what this exactly what this lady's saying, yes. But then at the same time, right, not everybody gets on anyway, naturally. It doesn't matter whether you're black or white or indifferent. I know I keep mentioning doesn't matter whether you're black or white or indifferent because I want to make it clear that yes, we can have problems with each other. Yes, we cannot agree on certain things. Yes, black people can hate black people. Yes, but then at the same time, it's also because of past stuff as well. There's a lot of past traumatic slave syndrome or something they call it, and also Willie Lynch spoke about it as well in his papers, how to make a slave. So what you're saying, yeah, possibly, but I don't know. Like, people in the comments, you tell me what you think of what she said, how they're saying, if this is true, because yes, you can fall out with your fellow man that look like you, your kin. Yeah, you can fall out, but then at one point, at one time, right, you and your fellow man will come together. And then you'll put aside all your animosity, and then you'll stick together. And I'm not saying that maybe there might be a kumbaya moment for that time, right? So sometimes it's to do with differences of opinion, differences of how you're brought up, differences of all sorts of things. Everybody's brought up differently, brought up in different conditions, different environments, all sorts of stuff. None of us are the same. Right, because if it was the same, it'd be a weird world. We'll all be clones, wouldn't we? So, her saying that, yes, it is kind of a valid argument, or kind of not a valid argument, but I could be corrected.
One of the main problems in the Black community is the lack of critical thinking. I don't know why it's like that, but it's a major problem. And that's why, even as a race, we sort of we have so many problems that can just be solved by us just using our brains, being critical thinkers, not just taking everything, but we just lack those skills to analyze situations, to think a bit deeper.
Now you're generalizing everybody. There is some critical thinkers amongst the Black community. You probably never met them. I met some heavy hitters. I'll tell you, some heavy hitters. Right. So you're generalizing everybody. You can't generalize everybody, put everybody in the same boat, because you yourself had I feel she's had a bad experience with somebody and she's just criticizing on basis of something that happens to her. Yeah. Oh, well, they're all the same. All right. Oh, well, this happened to me. Oh, well, they're all the same. Yeah, that's how she's thinking. She thinks like that. And she did do a post about Black people recently. She don't even like her own self. She's self-hate, basically. in a kind of a way she does. She self-hate. I couldn't find the post to post up what she wrote. I was kind of like, wow, she don't really like anybody really. She can't stand a lot of people. That's just who she is. Like I said, this is the build up before it got to where it is now.
And like what my husband always says to me, it's like, to Black people, she's Black. They don't care even if she murders somebody. They don't care about anything. All they care.
And that's where you're wrong. Because I remember when I covered the Atlanta child murders on the dark waters of Ocean Yumi, and it was a Black man who did it. And people was saying, no, it can't be, it can't be. He literally was around all that, right? Yes, there's people who will say that, but there's some people who would know that the person did it. Right? We see numbers of videos with people who's done unaliving to people and stuff like that of color. And not everybody thinks like you do. So I don't know why you're putting everybody once again in the same box. Because I certainly don't think like that. Right? If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. That's how I see it, like that. So that's the reason why I used the Atlanta murders, because that was one of the biggest thing when they found that it was Wayne. They kept saying, no, it wasn't Wayne, he's a good man. Even to this day, I think the victims feel sympathy towards him. The victims' parents feel sympathy towards him, right? They said, no, it was this, but even though there might have been another race who was doing it, but it was more geared, everything was pointing in his direction. Okay.
Care about is that she's a Black woman and they'll support her. Yet people who are really Black, fully Black like me, they won't support you. It's just a sad, it's a sad reality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've run businesses before, and I had problems getting support from my own, but it's okay because I was able to see that how if you do certain things properly, right, the other side universally, you'll get help from all over. So yes, on that hand, yeah, they can be like that. But at the same time, right, you don't have to watch that. You just carry on doing your thing, and then you get help from everybody, all nations. It doesn't matter who it is. So I'm talking like this, like, yeah, it's the rainbow society. No, I'm saying that how basically that how like, yeah, like you will get help from different, because I've experienced that. You get help from different places, even places you think you'll never even get help from. You'll be so shocked. So or will buy from you, especially when you're running a business. So there is some truth there, right?
Of us as Black people. And I think I just hope that maybe one day, we'll be somewhere better as a people. And I think Megan, the reason why I also keep talking about her, because I think her as a person is a sort of symbol. She can be a symbol of change for us, because right now the whole world is focused on her and Black people are all focused on her. And I feel so compelled to continue writing about this woman, because I feel like she has exploited even Black culture. She has appropriated the struggles of a Black woman. Do you know?
How is she appropriating when her mother's Black? Is a Black? melanated woman. Her mom's dark like me. I think she's Kenyan, right? I think she's Kenyan. I can't remember what Meghan Markle's mother is. Can't remember. So how is she culture appropriating? Is she part of a culture anyway? She's half of that culture. She's half of that culture. She can't culture appropriate what she's already part of already. That makes no sense.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I also feel like somehow maybe, you know, this can also turn out for the good, because I feel like slowly some Black people are waking up to the woman that she is, you know.
I don't really think half of the people cares. They're just worried about their day to day and what they got to do today, tomorrow, next week. I don't think anybody's bothered, to be honest. I think that how you're looking too deeply into it. You're looking too deeply into it. This conversation doesn't even need to be had. Like, fair enough, right? You called out a few things, okay, fair enough. But then it's like you're looking into something that, you know, it's not. I don't know. Maybe with her, she needs, you know, some people need something in it to keep them going, keep them alive. Maybe that's what she needs. She needs to talk about Meghan Markle because it keeps her alive. Maybe at the time, this is what it was with her. Maybe Meghan Markle was trending at the time. She decided to jump on the bandwagon train. I personally wasn't even bothered. I think I see 1, 2 thing, and I was like, okay, whatever. I read 1, 2 thing, that was it. I didn't even bother about the rest of it. Because once I found out she was an actress, that made sense in every way to me. So, yeah, I don't know. She just have an angst with her, I guess. Sorry, I didn't even realise the mic wasn't put on. She sounds very jealous of the lady. You're jealous of someone who's up there. She's with the elite. She ain't worrying about you. She have her money, her children, and her prince. She ain't worrying about you. She ain't business. What's going on with you? The people on the lower thing, she showed up very well when, like I said, when the rain fell, the children was dressed in school clothes, and I think it hailstoned or it rained. She didn't cover them. You know.
She has exploited it. I believe that she's taken on an identity to help herself. So she sees that having Black in her or being part Black, she can use it to her advantage. But I don't know that she would have done that had she not been able to take advantage of it to help herself. You see? So
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. It's actually, it's like her Black side. That is what even makes me angry, because she uses her mother's color to her own advantage, you know, and it's not even for the right things. It's not.
This conversation doesn't even need to be had, you know. Fair enough, right? There's a forum for all this conversation. Fair enough. Maybe it did need to be had at that time. But the argument, okay, she's articulating very well, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. But the lady, what I'm saying is, oh, the page is gone. The page went. This lady had an angst with Meghan Markle, Mrs. Certain ones, for whatever her reasons was. She keep referring to her in her posts. She keep referring to her on her Facebooks. She keep referring to her on her blogs. You have a personal angst with her. I'm sure the woman's not even bothered about you, the person. Right? I don't think she's bothered, to be honest. I think I should go to play the bit about the scam relationship, because I feel I need to bring that forward in this one as well. Hold on. Now, there was this post what Jean Gashaw, aka Mary Tamil, wrote. Okay. So Jean Gashaw, aka she meant to say aka Mary Tamil, living her best life. Now move over Meghan, trying for a baby number 8. Like, you know, I said, move over Meghan. You think Harry spoils you? Well, I'm spoilt rotten by my royal king, not a spare. So the phase belongs to me. The praise belongs to me. What Jean wants, Jean gets, which is what she's hoping to do. That's why she keeps asking for food where she is right now. I told my lord husband that potential baby number 8 is craving Burger King, and Burger King potential baby 8 number 8 had. Yes, what Jean wants, Jean gets. Okay. I think I'm going to do the scam and put this one on this one as well. And he's not a good looking guy, I'm sorry. There's African men that look like wowzers, you know what I mean? There's African men that look nice, like nice, very handsome. They can be 50, how old, they take care of themselves. This guy, I don't know, man. Even Ghanaians look good. So I think I'm going to get to the one that I was going to leave. But you know what? I feel I'm stirred to go to their romance scam. Yeah, let's go to their romance scam. I hope I can find the lady again. I don't think I saved her channel. Their romance scam and the many women that they had beforehand. Let me see, I could find it. She loves off Meghan Markle. She's obsessed with her. Can't be that obsessed or of the person like that. Oh, I can't find her. Where is she? Where's that lady? I think it's this one. I think it's this one. Okay. Hold on. Is this the one? Oh, okay, this is the one. I like this lady. Okay. Okay. So this lady that I'm gonna show, she found I didn't know about the other ladies. I knew about Lady Safi, but I did actually see found a picture of the Ghanaian, I think she's Ghanaian lady, the other wife. Um and Fundi Fee yesterday actually confirmed as well. She did a great breakdown on the Kabbalah kingdom as well, in her unique way. You know how we right, you know, Master Fundi Fee gets down. And I thought at first I was gonna separate the two lives, but I'm just gonna add this one. I might skip a bit because I want her to get to that part where she's talking about the other wives, okay? Because I tried to find this page, I can't find it. I don't know where this page is. I can't find it. So I'm going to share this lady, and she's wow. She found the other wives, that I didn't know about. I just know about the one from Texas, the one from Oklahoma, and they literally did a romance scam on this lady. Literally, I was like, wow, okay. So let me see if I got it there.
Allah and his native ancestors, who were the Moors of Scotland. So at the time is Queen Andy. And the reason why I put Queen Andy below John Fagan is because although she's the queen, she has beliefs that women are below men and women are weaker than men. One of the areas that she said women are weaker than men in on her blog is intellect. Now, I will get into all of her ideologies in another video. Who is Queen Andy? What does she believe? But right now, I'm just explaining why I decided to put her below John Fagan. Right after John Fagan is her, and below her is the Crown Prince, Chaka. 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 Sorry. So below her is Crown Prince Chaka. Now it's really sad because I think Chaka is like not really very big. He's not a big boy. I think he's like maybe like a toddler, and he was taken away from Nandi, and he is now in the custody of social service. However, as I said before, you're living in the woods, so what do you expect? You have no running water, you have no electricity, you don't work anywhere. How are you gonna get paid? How are you gonna manage to take care of this child properly? So we have Chaka, and below Chaka, I believe, is where we have the different wives. Now, let's talk about mention through my research that King Atahene is not new to this. He is true to this. And the two Lady Safis and Queen Andy are not the first to fall into this called Kubala conundrum. He has had about 5 wives prior to Lady Safi, who sadly passed on, and Akura Taylor. So the wives that he had in this Kubala situation, Queen Andy, Shulamite, Zelfir, Hagar, Aaliyah Johnson, and as Lady Safi, and below all of them is this handmaiden called Akura Taylor. Classification gets really complex, I would say, when you think about the Kubala kingdom and how they view women. So the Kubala kingdom, they believe that when women come into the home, they will marry into the king and queen's household. So the queen will always be above them, and they should know their place, and they should know that it is an abomination in their religion, in their perspective, that second, third, fourth wives after the queen, it's an abomination if they are treated better than the queen, if he gives them gifts that are better than them. Now, we know Kofi ain't got no money, but we also do know that he would pretend and cosplay riches. Nandi, on her blog as Jean Gasho, she spoke about the fact that it's an abomination when men give all their wives the same gift. So we understand that they do not have the same hierarchy, and that might show that Jean is actually very controlling. The feeling of,
and I said that she's very controlling. She's jealous. She's so jealous. She wants to be in polygamy, but she don't like it. She don't like when he pays them more attention. Though she will go along with it, She'll go along with it, but she don't like it. She really doesn't like it. You know, at one point she doesn't. She'll get to that point and she don't like it.
Being superior, the feeling of being the superior woman, the chosen woman, the woman above all other women in this bala kubala scenario. So that's what I learned. And basically, Jean Gasho breaks down on her blog that there are different levels to courting the king. So, of course, you have the queen, and nobody could really be in the place of the queen. But below that, you have his wife. So you could be a first wife, second wife, third wife. You have handmaiden to the queen and consort. And the layers go like this. She said that first, you are a handmaiden to the queen. So you see there that when women marry into this kubala situation, they are the handmaiden to Nandi. Nandi wants to be seen and sought after first and foremost. Your first job is to be her handmaiden. Anything else after that is secondary, but your job as a second, third, fourth, fifth wife, sixth wife is to cater to her needs. So she said handmaiden first, then concubine. And she said concubine is a second, it's like a wife, but it's not like a respected wife. And then after being a concubine, she said your duty as wife comes in last, and wife is to the king, meaning that what Nadi's saying is that my duty is to be a wife to my man, but when you come in here, your duty is to me and to be basically my personal servants for the duration of your time here. And to me, I feel like now that kind of all makes sense. And I believe that Nandi is directly benefiting from this whole setup. In her head, she had this fantasy. She wants to be served, catered to. Fall in love. The king's gonna love you. 10, 12 wives, and we all get love, and you get that affection. When truly, the only person who is really benefiting is King Kofi because of all the pussy that he's getting, and Nandi because she's getting waited on hand and foot. And throughout Shulamite's blog, so we're gonna get to Shulamite, but in Shulamite's blog, she actually kind of detailed how the king comes in and he sleeps with her, and it's almost like if he sneaks away from Nandi when Nandi is fast asleep to like have sex with her. So you see.
You know, when I heard that, that so reminded me of Olmec and Velvet when they went to Melanation, I think it was, when Nature Boy used to sneak off and go and be with Velvet. That's what that reminds me of so much. He like he really plays with the. They play. He plays. He goes on like he's with it. He's with the game. He's with the game, but I'm sure he getting the benefits out of it. Even now, Cora is there right now. He's getting the benefits out of Cora right now, you know? So yeah, that sneaking around thing, that really hit. That's why I said that how she is similar to not Velveeta in a kind of way. Okay. She's similar to her because even though Velveeta was the one that Nature Boy was sleeping with, right? But it's like, well, no, she is similar to her because Velveeta, when he used to go off and sleep with Malia, Velveeta she was up for it. She was with it. But when he got real serious about Malia, she didn't like it. You know, after a while, it seemed like she wasn't part of certain things, innit? She wasn't part of certain things, and Eferu and them that was all part of it, and she was very jealous about it because she showed it on screen. So when I heard, I was like, wow.
Clearly that Nandi is saying there's a hierarchy. This is why the distinction was so important for them when it came to Aaliyah Johnson versus Akura Taylor. So Aaliyah Johnson was the second wife of King Kofi. Of course, he is, I believe, legally married to Queen Nandi, but Aaliyah Johnson was his second wife. And second wife, of course, based on Nandi's hierarchy, meant that first and foremost, she was Nandi's servant. She was a handmaiden. Secondly, she was a concubine to the king. And then lastly, that relationship with the king was, and that love, that wife and husband relationship was the last thing that should be on her mind when she was there. So her duty is to fulfill Nandi's desires. And if there's any time left afterwards, you could do whatever you want with the king. Of course, Nandi would be occupying most of his time because remember, her relationship with the king is the first thing on her schedule. And that's why I called it a love pyramid scheme. Everybody who comes in after is just going to have less and less and less of the time while buying into this fantasy. Most of my information that I got for this segment and this video was from Shulamite. Now, Shulamite is, one of those ancient names that they keep giving all of the ladies that come around. Nandi and Atahene get together and they name these women, and they tell you why they name them, how they name them. I'm just going to tell you who I remember. So Zelfir is named because her name starts with Z. She's from Zimbabwe, and it was like in a precarious time with COVID, and apparently that name in the Bible has something to do with a precarious time, like uncertainty or fragility. Nandi explained was Zelfir's status of coming to the UK to join them and be their wife. It was really up in the air and it was very fragile, so that's why she named her that. We had Hagar. They named Hagar because she is supposed to be the gateway into the wealth of the Asians, kind of a thing, of the people who were cast aside or something like that were still blessed by God. So I don't know why Shulamite was named Shulamite, but what's most important and beneficial to our discussion is her story. So as you know, Jean Gasho had a blog, and Jean was telling us in around 2025 July she was also lonely. She didn't have anybody to talk to. And one thing I noticed about Jean's blog is that every time you see Kofi, when she needs something from Kofi or she wants to spend time with Kofi, if it's not about Smex, he is very much not interested. Because she would say, like, she would try to talk to him about his day and just like, because like she's lonely, and he would never listen to her. He would never listen to her. And she said that eventually she felt like it might have had something to do with the fact that he's a man, she's a woman, and he is not going to be interested in anything she says. And honey, let me tell you something. If a man is not interested in anything that you're saying, he does not like you. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're a woman. Because at the end of the day, I think we communicate with people who we feel like we have affinity to, and we want to get closer to them. So really and truly, if someone you care about is extending that olive branch, the least you could do is pretend to care and try to understand and reach them halfway. But he doesn't. And she would say, like in her blog, she would write that she'd ask him, honey, are you listening? And he'd say, yeah. But in her head, she knew he wasn't, and she would stop. Shulamite's story is
because he doesn't love her like that. He doesn't see her as, like men, when they love a woman, right? Even now, she really obsesses over the guy. She be there touching his beard, touching his hair, touching his this, touching his that. You're just like, oh, come on, right? We know you're together, right? When I used to walk around and see couples doing that, right? You know when people's together, innit? You know when they're together because the energies match each other, right? They when they talk, there's like they mimic each other. They are a mirror of each other. I feel with her it's more an obsession, and I believe it's down to him having the affairs, why she's so obsessed over him. Because even though Kara's there, yes, but what sometimes I feel when the camera's off, he'll be with Kara most of the time, right? Because he likes people, he likes the women like Safi, he likes good looking women, right? And Jean, you see, Jean was once a good looking, I mean, she's not an ugly lady, she's not, but it's like she's aged a lot, innit, right? And because of how she gets on, I feel he likes a different type of woman. There's some men, they don't always like the same woman, right? Like, like you'll be going out with them for years and they will not like, they will, something will change in the relationship, right? And they will go for something else. That's what I feel what's happening with him. But she definitely obsessed over him. She has to adjust his hair, she has to adjust his beard. Even when the press is talking to him, she's there adjusting his hair and his beard and his this and his that. That's not love. That's obsessive love. That's a dangerous love. That's like if he says to her, I don't want to be with you, she'll probably end up unaliving the guy. I think she's that type of woman, right? She gets jealous if she's not paid attention. That's why even when she's on the live, she says, in it, my king, in it, my king, right? Because it's like he totally be in another somewhere else, or he's more focused on Cara, maybe as Nut or whatever. But that's what I feel. But listen to the story. The story is getting good now.
One of ultimate desperation. I have never seen a woman so oblivious to how she is coming off in her blog and the fact that she may have been used and likely could have been scammed for years by this couple before she decided to join their ranks. Okay. Now, Shulamite started off this blog and she was encouraged by Nandi to write this blog. One thing about Shulamite is we don't know what she looks like because she wants to be very private. She never showed her face. And so Nandi seems to be pushing her all the time to like reveal yourself, be proud of yourself. And she had said in one of her blogs that she would do it in her own time. So Shulamite, we learn a lot about them, their inner workings from this blog. And in this blog, Shulamite states that she knew Kofi. She knows Kofi from university. Apparently, they would go to school there together, and she knows him from way back when. She moved from university to work in the UK, and she said she felt so lonely in the UK. So that when Kofi reached out to her in his travels back and forth to and from the UK, he would reach out to her. So when he reached out to her, he would always invite her to meet up. And she said that they never got the chance to, but she said he was really cool. Like he was a really cool dude, a cool cat. And so eventually he, on his third trip back and forth, since he reached out to her, she decided that she had to meet him. And what happened?
So they had a natural connection together. It was more organic than when even them with Nandi. They had a connection. That's what happened. Even though he's cheating on his wife.
Was that on that night when they met, it was very magical. He kissed her and she felt like the world just dissolved around her, and she felt like this was the guy. This was the one that she wanted to spend the rest of her life with. And of course, in true drama style, he pushed away and told her, like, he's apologizing for the kiss, and he never spoke about it again. So she really felt enamored with him after that night. However, she found out online that he had a family. Of course, we know who he married. Queen Nandi. And she said like she pulled up his photo online and she saw him with his face powdered with his children. And she confronted him and she said, "Do you have a family?" And he said, "Yes." She's like, "Does your wife know that we kissed?" And he kind of deflected and would say, "Talk to you tomorrow." So that's where part 1 of her blog, How I Met My Husband, that's how it ends. Now, part 2 of the blog really just made me jump out my skin. And I actually, when I was researching this, I had to stop, pause, and just compose myself. Because what do you mean he stopped talking to you and you felt used because he had your bank card? What do you mean? You met this guy like one time, and after the one time of the kiss, what happened in that space that made you send your bank details to this man? So she goes on to say that she said he had her bank card and her bank information because his back and forth from Ghana to the UK, he's trying to set up his permanent stay, but it's not finished yet. So he needed her like bank details to do some e-commerce business that he had, right? So she gave him her bank cards, and she said she felt so used when she realized he cut her off, cut communication, but still had her bank card. She said, however, during that time where he never really used to talk to her, on the odd occasion that he did reach out, it was always for money. Every time it would be about 300 pounds, 400 pounds that he would ask for, and she would give it to him. She would give it to him. So I don't understand where this is going and why I should feel sorry for her, but I am actually just so embarrassed and disappointed. But I do understand why this happened, because she felt like she had lost her chance on love. So Shulamite, the one that we know as Shulamite, she apparently, when she went to university, yes, Kofi was there in Ghana, but she wanted to marry this Ghanaian boy. And apparently, from whatever tribe she was from, they didn't like that arrangement, her family. So she had to cut him go, let him go, and he married somebody else. So when she felt like she saw Kofi again, he's a Ghanaian, this was her second chance at love. So she felt like that was her second chance at love. And maybe that's a reason for why she's giving him all of her money and easy access. But she even sent Queen Nandi money to her account for Kofi. And she stated that what broke her heart was that he was not using this money for an online business. Now, remember when I had said in the first video I had done on these people right here that Nandi was showing off that her husband was wealthy, that he had money, but he had nothing? This makes me feel like Nandi.
Yeah, she brags about it in her blog. She brags about it all over the internet. Literally, you literally see it. She's one of them. When she's getting something and it's good or whatever, she will tell the world about it. She don't hold nothing back.
That all of that money that I told you Nandi bought those shades for him, he was so cool that those were his shades. They were no, you know what I said in that first video? This makes me think that money wasn't even Nandi's money. This makes me think that was Shulamite's money, because Shulamite said she realized that he wasn't spending it on his businesses, but instead he was spending it on luxury hotels and doing as if it was his own money. She said that when she saw this, she almost asked for her bank card back, but she held herself back.
Now, what I'm going to play right now is the meeting of the two women. Right, so Nandi talks about this in her blog too.
It's been about 7 weeks since my king took another wife, my handmaiden Shulamit. It's been quite a journey, almost like a lifetime, but most of it has been so positive. I have been shocked because I had so many fears. I have always lived a life of loneliness, and I have always longed for a sister. I have always said to my husband, I just wish I had a close family, and live that normal life of having a sister to talk to, or a mother. Just a normal life of companionship. I sometimes end up just talking to my husband, about things that only women would find interesting, and my Boaz will be like, yes babe I am listening, and I know he won't be, so I have to tell myself to just stop. My life has always been void of female companionship. But as the days go by, I feel like God has blessed me with that sister I never had. Shulamit makes the most beautiful meals, she's a caterer and her food is proper. Star cuisine. I always look forward to Sabbath because she makes her best for the Sabbath. My prayer is I won't put back on all the weight I have lost. My house is always sparkling clean now, Shulamit is such a clean person. A few days ago we went shopping together and we had so much fun, Shulamit took my photos. She even asked my husband to buy her a camera so she can take more professional pictures of me, that's how much we have bonded.
Oh, my belly's moaning.
We had a movie night the other day, my husband, Shulamit, and I. It was just beyond beautiful. Just tucking under the throws with ice cream and talking about life and watching a good movie. It was just that priceless moment I never thought I would enjoy. There is a fountain of joy and peace flowing in our household, and I never argue with my husband anymore. I can't even remember the last time we argued. My husband has so much peace. During the day he just locks himself away doing his work, whilst Shulamit and I chat away, or I will be writing and she will be playing with the children. Polygamy doesn't have to be a tag of war between women. There is such a thing called sisterhood at the heart of it all. My readers have asked if Shulamit can tell her own story, and have her own blog. I know a lot of women actually like her. So I asked my husband if she can open a blog, and he finally said yes. She always admires how I write, and says I have inspired her to write as well. So she has done it, and I am ever so proud of her. I did however tell her that some Christian women are very angry at her choice of lifestyle. I told her one of my fundamental Christian readers called her lazy and not intelligent, and she laughed her eyes off, because she is the most hardworking woman and she's incredibly smart. Recently we were talking about why it's so hard for women to share a man, and she was like, because sex is such a big deal nowadays, women are so uptight. Back then sex wasn't such a big deal. Women were actually happy for their husbands to have second wives or whatever. They will be the ones to say, honey please just go to her and leave me alone. I laughed so hard at her wisdom and intelligence.
And I think this is just the epitome of desperation. And this is why people do not be desperate, because when you are desperate, people will smell it and they will take advantage of it. Because there is no way this is normal and healthy behavior. But then again, who do we find falling into the pit of these cults? It's always somebody that has some unresolved pain inside of them. And her unresolved pain was that she felt like she lost love and she was never going to find love again. So when Kofi came along, she thought that this is my one in a chance opportunity. I don't care if I have to share him. And the reason why I said that that might have been her thought process was because Kofi had sent her a song that made her think in her head that he might have wanted to be more than a friend. And he invited her to some award ceremony that he was having. And that's when she said she saw Queen Nandi. She was so beautiful. She was more beautiful in person than she was in her pictures. And she was so kind. And that was it. She said, you know what? He had a happy family. Have a nice life. Then later he sent out a message, and I will put the poster here. And this advertisement basically states that, you know, he is looking for a second wife, and those who want should apply by sending £500, and basically that will allow them to have a virtual date with the king to see if they are acceptable. So Shulamite paid the £500. Yes, she did. She paid the £500, got the virtual date, and then after a couple of days, he responded and said that he would be very interested in taking her as his second wife. She said she was so overjoyed. She said that he invited her to his home. They met, and as soon as she saw Queen Nandi, she just dropped on the ground in front of her and stated that, you know, this woman looks like a queen. She looks like a queen. She dresses like a queen. And so she said, like, I need to serve her because she just has such queenly energy. You know, Queen Nandi, she loves being flattered. So that's what made her like, oh my God, I love Shulamite, because Shulamite, in my opinion, was Nandi's favorite sister wife. And Nandi said that she was just so excited to have like a sister there, and it was so great and it was so nice. Shulamite became their living chef. Remember, handmaiden to the queen first, getting love from Kofi afterwards. So she
And she did talk about her five-star cooking in her blog.
She had a degree in hospitality and catering. And so she said that she felt like her life was fulfilled, that she could do what she loved with people who she loved. And she said, my life has been fulfilled. I finally have my husband. That's what she said. And my heart hurt when I heard that, because I'm like, this is the exact type of mindset that you would find with people who find themselves in these types of predicament, where their value does not come from within them. They feel like they have to prove or attain something to be valuable. Like, it's sad, but this is what happens. And so she was basically living her dream, living this fantasy, playing house with these people. And her family was not approving of it. Some of them were, because I guess polygamy exists in some parts of African society, but other people were not happy with her decision in her family. And she said, you know what, for the last time, will I allow people to keep me from love? Because remember, it happened before. It happened before when she had her boyfriend, her Ghanaian boyfriend, who they didn't allow to marry her because they didn't feel like he was from the right tribe. So she was happy. So the second blog talks about my first night with the king, and it speaks about the fact that she had her first encounter with the king.
You know what? I'm going to play them. Hold on a minute. Hold on. That was the what? Which one was that now? My night with the king. Okay, let me put it up on screen. Let's hear this. Let's hear this craziness then. Firsthand. I've been looking for this everywhere. Okay. Let my little guy read it.
Have been warmly welcomed to the royal household. I have enjoyed getting to spend time with all the children, getting to know their names and what they love to do. The children are all very polite and well behaved. I was asked by Mary what I like to eat and we cooked together. For the first
So
time
she
it
calls her
felt
Mary
awkward, having a
Tama.
realization that this is really happening. My heart was overjoyed and I felt really special. We watched the TV with the older kids whilst Kofi was in the room. Later Kofi put the young kids to bed, so I did not see him all evening. Mary gave me a blanket and said I should relax and feel at home and pulled out the sofa bed and we sat together. When it was quite late and
I'm going to do all of it.
the older children had gone to bed, she gave me some nice white chocolate she said she hid from the kids. She said it's her favorite to eat when the children are in bed. She treats herself and watch Coronation Street. We watched Coronation Street and Mary went to bed to join Kofi. I felt awkward, but I knew this is what I chose. I decided to watch a movie. I fell asleep because I was so tired. Around 3 a.m. I heard footsteps to the lounge and it was my king. He held my hand, lifted me up, hugged me so tight and kissed me. He walked me to my bedroom and I shut the door.
Hold on. I'm looking for something, that's why at the same time. Oh, she put it was a night to remember. Huh?
It was a night to remember.
What?
I am Shulamit and it's my pride.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, let me go back to the other lady. Hold on a minute. I can't flex how I would normally do on my screens, you see. Okay, let's go back to my lady. I think she explains that part.
Kind of gave a description of the family life in Kubala Kingdom when they actually had a home before they were evicted. And she claimed, like, the children, they were so well behaved. And after the kids were put to sleep, she spent some time with Queen Nandi, watching a show with ice cream. Queen Nandi said, whatever she was eating is like a treat for when her children go to sleep. And then after Queen Nandi went to sleep, King Shulamite
Kofi was a sneaky one, weren't he? Hey, he was sneaky. I thought that polygamy, that everybody knew what was going on in the relationship. That's my uptake. I think Wendy Fee does a breakdown of polygamy. I gotta go find it. I'm gonna find it because yes, in African societies, polygamy is a thing, right? So yeah, it's acceptable. And but the fact that how it's like he waited till she left the house, then he made his move on the other lady. Like I thought that everybody knew where everybody was on the same book. Like if he's in that room, okay, he's in the room with her. I could be ignorant to this, but you lot can tell me if you know about the polygamist life. You can explain it to me, especially the African side of it.
basically stated that King Kofi had told her that he wanted another wife, and this another wife was going to be an Asian woman, and they described her in the blog as an Ishmaelite. So Jean and Shulamite now at this point in time have blogs running. Both of them honestly speak very similarly, so I don't know what you want to do with that information, but both of them had blogs at the same time. And Queen Nandi also spoke about this Asian lady that Kofi had said, I want to marry her. Now, from what I could pick up from the blogging, is that Hagar might have been Hindu, because you hear Shulamite talking about things like Hagar's religious beliefs being reincarnation, that she was vegetarian, so she may have been a Hindu. So Hagar was, according to Shulamite and Nandi, this Asian lady. And based on how Nandi perceives the world, is very interesting because she sees things as lines are demarked by race. And she has always said that Black women are the epitome of beauty, and that no man who is rebuilding the Kubala kingdom or like Solomon, the kingdom of Solomon or ancient Israel, none of them would even think about being with anybody who wasn't Black. And the thing is, she also stated that Solomon, most of his concubines and wives were.
Nandi has this thing, and this lady had this thing with color. It shows in a lot of ways. Even how she's explaining it now, she's very much on color. Color of a person, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? She don't see the person. She sees the color first. You know what I mean? It's interesting.
Blacks. Let me explain how Kofi is such a player. So Shulamite and Queen Nandi are really close because Shulamite is basically Nandi's number one bootlicker. And Hagar comes in, this Ishmaelite woman, and Nandi doesn't really like her. I could tell from the writing, like she's being cordial because of her place as queen, right? But she doesn't really like her as much as she likes Shulamite. Like she talks about Shulamite all the time, and Shulamite takes pictures of her, and you're like, tries to write like her and tries to copy her style. So she's like, I know Shulamite really loves me. And she's like, I don't mind her copying my style when she doesn't try to upstage me. And she was like, but I know that that's not her intention because she looks up to me as her queen. Hagar, on the other hand, not so much. So Hagar seemed like she was very opinionated. And she would try to stir up strife between Queen Nandi and Shulamite because she would say that Shulamite does not respect Queen Nandi. So she was like a little shit stirrer. And one day Shulamite came and asked Kofi on one of their romantic strolls, why did you marry us? All these three women. And this man says that he needs to marry these three queens to rebuild the kingdom of Kubala. And so then he goes on to say essentially that the only reason he married Hagar, this Asian woman, was because she is the gateway to the riches of the Asians, the children of Ishmael, who God blessed, because he said most of the riches are in the hands of Ishmael, and that he marrying her is kind of like a marriage of alliance, and it's not about love. He says that Nandi is his queen and Nandi is his marriage of love, so he's still putting her on top of all of them. And then he says that she is also his gateway to Ghana because the riches of Ghana was something taken away. Now listen to me, you could read this in their blog, Shulamite's blog. Shulamite disappeared and she stopped writing, so I think she left the cult because I only see like 3 of them now. Even John Fagan, I don't think he's there anymore. But you could tell this man was playing in all of their faces. And Queen Nandi was actually the shit stirrer and ringleader of it all. Like, don't feel sorry for Queen Nandi. She and I would say scammers in arms because that's how it appears. It really does appear that they took this woman on a joyride, telling her to send them money for things that they weren't even going to buy. That's how it seems, at least. And Nandi and Kofi have this system and they love how it runs. So accordingly, started to get really toxic, which makes sense. I believe Queen Nandi might have felt some jealousy, some really strong jealousy towards her, because I don't believe people who genuinely love themselves talk down on any other person, any other group of people, any other race to big up themselves. I don't believe that. That Nandi does have some kind of low self-esteem, and so she has to pit women against each other and lower than her so that she could feel a synthetic, inflated sense of self-worth. So Nandi is all praises for Shulamite. She cleans the home, it's spotless, she's cleanly, and she basically cooks for them and makes massive meals for her, and she gets along with the children. Hagar, it would seem, not so much. Eventually, because Hagar also was a vegetarian, and Queen Nandi and Kofi are big meat eaters, so that didn't work out too well. Plus, I feel like they knew she had reservations about this religion, and so Hagar basically had confided in Shulamite that she was unsure of how her religion and her core beliefs really blends with this new spirituality that Kofi and Queen Nandi have introduced her to. So eventually Kofi told her that she needed to leave the family, and so he cast her out, and that was the end of Hagar. When it comes to Zelfir, she was supposed to make it to the UK, but I don't think she did. And of course, you know the story of Aaliyah Johnson and Akura Taylor. So that is the end of today's.
It's so interesting to listen to, to hear a little more back to what was, because I was looking for Shulamite thing everywhere. I was looking for that thing because I wanted to like, sometimes like it's interesting to read the words yourself and stuff like that. So yes, like I said, Jean would always have a kind of jealousy for the handmaidens. It doesn't matter how nice they are, how nice they treat her, she will turn on them, just like this, right? She will turn on them. She will take the money, because I'm sure some of them come with money as well, come bringing money, come bringing cash, whatever, and you know, and him, you know, like nothing seems above board. Everything seems under. Even when you're watching certain videos with him and Asnot, you can see that there is a little more something there. Because even with Lady Safi, he was more like, there's a picture of them in a spa. Fair enough, Jean's taking the picture, but they're not all together. He's got Lady Safi's legs on him, on top of him, right, as they're on the water. He is like, he lost love for Jean. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, because yeah, he left her for a while. I think that's the bit I miss. He left her for a while and he went with the other lady, like that Ghanaian lady, and then he came back, you know. So this lady, she has deep things going on with her. Like, it's something to do with color. It's something there with her. There's something there really deep inside going on. Now, I'm not saying that how I'm perfect. No, right? We all have little traumas, little PTSD, little this going on. But it's like when you're bringing other people into your stuff is when it gets ridiculous, you know. But anyways, I'm not going to make this longer. I'm not going to let it go into 2 hours. I'm going to leave it right here. So we've seen the bit where she's talking, so just that where she's the person she's targeting doesn't make sense. Meghan Markle is everywhere. You know, she's everywhere. She's an actress. She's married to whoever, to the prince, whatever. So she had a little angst with her, and she wants to be in that high esteem. She wants to be held like that. So any woman coming in is beneath her. And this content creator actually confirmed a lot of what I thought of her. All my conversations I had with my friend about her, she's actually confirmed a lot, right? So I'm waiting to see how it's gonna go when they have to leave off land. I think it's the end of the week or something like that. They gotta leave off land or something. That's the part I wanna see happen, because she's really taking a Mickey over there. She's taking a Mickey. But there is deeper things going on. The more we hear, the more we go into that rabbit hole, the more I hear, the more I see, I think, wow, like, so if there's anything else that comes to do with the Kabbalah kingdom, Jean Gasher, Mary Tamar, right, as she calls herself, aka Queen Nandi, or Kofi, right, or Cora, yeah, I'll bring it forward, because this is all part of it. It's the same thing up that I've seen people follow Nature Boy from Melanation, the other one to Carbonation, and then you get all that information. Is when it actually gets to the head. That's when you know, okay, yeah, right. So there is little things going on there. So, but her children is lovely. Jean Gashaw children is beautiful. Every single one of them, very beautiful children. It's a shame that she's turned into what she's turned into, right? She does actually have potentials in art, writing. She's a writer. She's theatrical, like, you know, but it's like, it's all wasted. It's all gone into this strippiness, what she's dealing with. It doesn't make no sense. But yeah, this content creator, yeah, definitely as well brings it all home, like the middle bit that I didn't see or fuss or get to. So with that said, I'm going to leave it right here. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye. Oh yeah, please leave a comment under the live. I know you lot can't stomach the people, but you know, it's interesting to know the root of everything, you know. But anyway, with that said, I'm going to come off. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.